What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is indeed the Game Changer. This is indeed the prediction show going into Elimination Chamber this Sunday. I am indeed Nate, the Epic Great, being joined here by the Bill Nye, the Science Guy, to my Mr. Rogers, this being Max. Beatty, how's it going, good sir?
Bill, I'm okay with this. So okay with this.
Hey, I've gone on record to say that was one of the best, if not the greatest, crossover episode ever of Mr. Rogers and Bill Nye the Science Guy. I don't care what anybody says. It was awesome.
I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that.
Yeah, so like I said, we're going to be talking about wrestling this week and then go into talking about the Elimination Chamber this Sunday. Lots going on, but also could be a little bit predictable. We'll get to that when we get to it. Let's first talk about the state of Smackdown Live and how over the last few weeks it's been very
rough.
Rough. It feels very lukewarm. It feels very mild compared to what it was before. Yes, it's the land of opportunity, and for me, I can definitely say that they're giving opportunities. They have AJ Styles as WWE Champion. They decide, let's have, first a triple threat match between, Styles, Owens, and Zayn. Okay, well, so kind of we got that Rumble, but at the same time, now it's every man for himself. Let's add Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler to the mix. Okay, this is one of those main events I'm actually okay with because Dolph Ziggler is a great wrestler, and he can definitely put on great matches. Baron Corbin is just getting better and better as time goes on. And then you have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, which, come on, it's Generico and Steen, goddammit. And then AJ Styles, need I say more? Main event scene is definitely building up very well. They announced a couple matches for Fastlane as well. Bobby Roode versus Randy Orton. I want to see that matchup. That looks to be awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
That's gonna be beautiful. And one thing that I think that a lot of people have been probably thinking about on that one is Bobby Roode has always been, because of his appearance and a lot of the attitude of the characters he's played. People have used to call him the Triple H of TNA. And then you've got Randy Orton, his entire career has been entwined with Triple H. So it's like a student of the game and the guy that's the game 2.0 are going to face off. That's fucking cool just from a conceptual standpoint.
Yeah, and I think the build-up that they've done to this has been actually very good. I am kind of worried that they might throw Jinder Mahal into the mix and make it into a triple threat, but at the same time, Jinder is actually doing better right now than what he was doing about, say, 4 months ago when he was champion.
I agree. I think they've been putting him up against opponents that can actually make him look good, and they've got him in a position with the, being in the mid-card U.S. title hunt that I think more people are going to be accepting of it, So I think that putting him in the U.S. title scene's a good idea, and I honestly wouldn't have a problem if they threw him in the U.S. title match. I wouldn't have an issue with that, personally, but that's just me.
Yeah, they also announced Charlotte defending her title against Ruby Riott. I wish I cared, because...
Yeah, that's sad, too, because I like Ruby Riott, and I love Charlotte, and it's just you think this would be, this build-up would be great. No, it's not. They might as well have not even built this matchup at all.
Yeah, fully agree. And then they put in New Day versus the Usos. I thought they were done with that, and I thought we were getting Bludgeon Brothers versus Usos. When I saw them smashing the screen when the Usos were talking, I'm like, yes, we're getting one of the best tag team matches in years.
Right? That's where I thought it was going. SmackDown's just been fucking weird. To be honest, I'm thinking maybe SmackDown's, shall we say, less than stellar quality, and the fact that its ratings have been kind of starting to reflect that, it kind of makes me wonder if that's not, the main reason they decided after, I want to say it's after Fastlane and Elimination Chamber, they're going back to co-branded pay-per-views. Right. It kind of feels that way. And in addition to that, all the people have been saying, well, what's the point of doing, doesn't that render the brand split completely meaningless? Oh, last time I checked, the shows themselves, the actual weekly shows are still completely separate, so if anything else, having everything blow off all at once every month is going to really cut down on, show fatigue, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that. I know that, I think one of the reasons why they are going back to the dual pay-per-views deals was also because of the fact that they knew that, okay, well, us doing, 2 pay-per-views a month is not exactly working out. And I guess they're too scared to go back to just having, solo Raw pay-per-views and solo SmackDown pay-per-views every other month. So it's like, well, this seems like the easy way out right now. It's like, well, okay. I mean, I'm definitely not against it, but it's one of those things where it's like,
No, I don't think it's a bad idea. And to be honest, if they went back to what they were doing in the first brand split where they would alternate months, that would mean that each pay-per-view would get a 2-month build. Now, on paper, that sounds like a great idea. But then when you look at the state SmackDown is in right now, it's kind of, can they sustain a 2-month build for each pay-per-view? I think that this is, given the deficiencies that they're going through right now, I think this is a better option.
Yeah, I full-heartedly agree with that. So we go from SmackDown to actually talking about NXT, which we haven't done that in quite a while. Wow, surprising. But for good reason. This past week, they had an NXT Championship matchup between Andrade Cien Almas and Johnny Gargano, which, I mean, compared to...
I'm in a glass case of emotion for that entire match, I tell you this right now.
I mean, these guys have definitely been putting on some very stellar, very good matches. And once again, they definitely really set the bar on, what the NXT Championship means to these guys. And for a lot of people that thought that, Andrade Cien Almas, he was going to be a temporary champion until they get somebody better. Yeah, I do not see that being the situation. Plus, he was in the Royal Rumble. They obviously have a lot of faith in him. It was...
Plus, he's had like a fucking renaissance ever since he picked up the NXT Championship. He's become not just the top heel because he has the belt, but just top heel by virtue of quality. Plus him having his girlfriend with him, I'm like, when he gets moved up to the main roster, she better come with him. And B, you need to rocket that motherfucker to a title. I don't care what the title is, but he's going to be one of your go-to heels for years to come.
Honestly, I think it'd be really crazy to have the Bobby Roode U.S. Open Challenge, and Andrade actually answers it, and then he beats Bobby. It'd be literally one of those moments where it's like, oh my god, this is like Carlito and Cena all over again, where it's just like, well, there's a new guy coming in, and then it's like, oh my god, we got a new champion. Whoa.
Oh, that'd be fuck. I would, I'd be all over that. I mean, and plus, oh god, that'd be so great, and oh god, just yes. And hell, honestly, they could just, with the two of them, I would actually be fine with them trading the U.S. title back and forth for a little while before settling on whichever one you want to go with long term. I think that could actually be a really good long-standing feud.
I'd be okay with that. That would be absolutely amazing. But basically, what happened this past Wednesday was that Andrade pinned Johnny Gargano with a little bit of help from Tommaso Ciampa, and the stipulation being that if Gargano lost, he would leave NXT. Once again, another one of those moments where it's like, hey, it's a great matchup. Post-match, why do you hate me, NXT? Why do you wish to hurt me? Why do you want to make me cry? Just, why? It was just one of those very emotional deals. And the fact that, Candice LeRae, Johnny's actual wife, came into the ring, they're sharing an emotion, and I could definitely hear the fans just saying, thank you, Gargano, thank you, Johnny Wrestling. Just, it definitely was a great way to basically, as we mentioned before the show, build up to the call-up for Johnny Gargano to the main roster, which I think that he's definitely going to go to 205 Live and compete in the Cruiserweight title tournament, which I'm totally okay with, because he definitely deserves that opportunity.
Oh, god damn, yeah, I'd totally be fine with that. I'd love to see him. Hell, might be a shot in the arm 205 could use. Yeah,
I definitely agree with that. I mean, great to see Rockstar Spud. I mean, Maverick Drake, whatever the fuck
Oh, God, that fucking name. It's so bad. Oh, God, it sounds like it should be a character in a parody of, like, that, what's that Schwarzenegger movie? Commando. And that movie was basically a parody of friggin' action movies already. Like, oh my God, Maverick Drake. Whoever thought that one up needs to be slapped.
I'm hoping that there just comes a day where Maverick Drake, basically turns heel, and he just starts screaming out, "I'm not Maverick Drake, I'm Rockstar Spud." He just goes absolutely ape shit on that and be like, yes.
I kind of want them to troll a little bit first, like they're in the back and he's talking with somebody, and it's near catering, and someone walks up with I don't know, a bag of chips or some plate with mashed potatoes or something from catering, and they just walk up to him and go, "Spuds?" Or someone walks up to him and goes, "Man, you are such a little rock star," and then they just kind of they just stop just short of winking at the camera. Just, come on, they've got EC3. Do it. Also put EC3 and him together. That shit was beautiful.
I will say this. I know this is getting a little bit off topic, but I still think that one of my favorite moments that Rockstar Spud, a.k.a. Drake, did in TNA was when they were in the ECW arena. And Kurt Angle's basically just saying, I'll have security escort you, Rhino, and EC3 out the building. And fucking Rockstar Spud just goes off on the policeman, just saying, "You know what? I'm not taking no orders from no Dunkin' Donut eating cops." He just goes absolutely insane. And again, this is the one line that keeps making me laugh, where he's just "I'm Rockstar Spud. I'm a lion. I'm a tiger. And I have a British passport, pal." I'm just what the fuck is this guy? Thinking that a British passport is going to save him.
That was one of the best. That was one of the best moments of his and EC3's whole little duel run together. That shit was hilarious.
Oh my God! And again, if they do pair them up, let them just do what they did in TNA, where basically Rockstar Spud is just the little guy that just talks a big game, but then just gets his ass whooped. And then there's EC3 who just can back it up. It was a great chemistry between the two of them. Let them roll with that, because not only would you have one of the most entertaining duos of all time, you would have just this great wrestling tandem that people could actually get behind.
Oh my God, I wholeheartedly agree. The two of them just had this. I mean, EC3. God, when he was on the game show version of NXT, so wasted, so wasted. The dude's a brilliant talent, but he and Rockstar just had this really unique, kind of organic charisma, and TNA, Impact. I keep wanting to call TNA. Impact really, every once in a while, Impact sees something and goes, "You know what? Matt Hardy worked. Let's fucking do this." And boom, it just clicked. I swear to God, if they even tease it, when they had AJ Styles first come in, and those few moments where he and the club too sweet at each other, and the crowd basically lost their shit. I'm pretty sure you would get that happening. You would get some, Rockstar Spud chance from just teasing it.
Oh, definitely. I definitely do agree with that. So, talking about fantasy stuff to a bit of reality, and a little bit of reality that is settling in, is what the Hall of Fame is shaping up to be. I mean, it's actually a really good class so far. You have Bill Goldberg, who was the first major inductee. Then they followed that up with the Dudley Boys, which I'm okay, yep, they definitely deserve it. Yeah. I kind of called it, but at the same time, I'm okay with that, because they definitely full-heartedly deserve it.
And Dudley Boys. Yeah. I mean, I actually saw a post recently where someone's do the Dudley Boys really deserve it? Their big things were in ECW and in TNA, and I'm just okay, first off, ECW's owned by WWE, shut the hell up. Second off, it's the Dudley Boys, shut the fuck up.
I mean, if you combine some of the moments that they've had with ECW, WWE, and put that against the TNA ones, it's still really good stuff. And I mean, honestly, if they can work some kind of agreement out with Impact Wrestling where they, make mention of the fact that, they were single stars, especially Bubba being Bully Ray, oh my God, that would be amazing. And just, even for the crowd to just chant, Bully Ray, Bully Ray, Bully Ray, I would just mark out, be like, yes! I love the audience right now. You've done this.
Speaking of those two, just a real quick little aside. In addition to going into the Hall of Fame, did you hear about? Well, now I want to call him Bully Ray. Damn it! Did you hear? Bubba's doing the. He's the official Ring of Honor enforcer.
Really?
Yeah, he's got this whole thing going on. He's like an on-screen authority figure. He had this whole promo segment with it. Holy shit, that crowd was hot for that. I mean, he came out, crowd pops. He drops that announcement, and I thought that crowd was just going to jump to their feet. I mean, they are all over it, and I'm all over that too. That's actually a pretty good deal for him. I gotta say, he's got to have like some kind of like open contract with WWE if they're allowing him to do that, though.
Yeah, you would think so. I mean, that's the same thing that they did with Chris Jericho, hence why we got, Alpha versus Omega, which, beautiful. Just
and the man is still all over New Japan and other promotions. Like, I've heard people say, oh, it's like Chris Jericho having a career renaissance. Okay, if we go with every single character change of his that's been fantastic, the dude's had like 16 renaissances. Can we just all agree that Jericho's the GOAT?
Yeah, we could definitely agree with that. Another inductee is Ivory, which I think is long overdue. I think a lot of people definitely are happy to finally see Ivory getting into the Hall of Fame because there was a major debate a few years ago when Beth Phoenix got inducted, and they said, what? How come she's getting inducted before Ivory? How come this is happening? How come this is happening? And now it's like, hey, we're finally getting Ivory, so shut up. Just stop your whining. She's finally going into the Hall of Fame. She should have been inducted sooner. I need you to shut your mouth before I tape it, glue it, and weld it shut. It's happening. Just shut up.
I agree with you, man. There's a little part of me that just so wants her to show up in her old Right to Censor getup.
Oh my gosh, dude. I was just about to say that was probably like one of her best things when she was a heel, being a part of the Right to Censor.
I loved watching that as a kid. Honestly, like, as a kid, Right to Censor was one of my, like favorite friggin' heel factions. They were so beautifully hateable. Like, Ivory she's beautiful, she's excellent in the ring, and she's just a great all-around talent. But she and everyone else in Right to Censor had this amazing ability to make you hate them so very hard.
I mean, it was one of those things where you wouldn't expect it from Ivory because she represents kind of what, the women's division was, during that time. And then basically she's just saying, like, no, I'm not like that anymore. You're not going to see puppies. You're not going to see this. You're going to deal with a woman who basically, looks like she's basically coming out of I'm trying to remember the, what's the wording that I had? Like was it like a nun monastery where she's basically just, she goes from like wearing like kind of skimpy clothes and she's very revealing. She just had like having everything covered up. And of course to the guys, it's just like, how dare you deny us access to seeing your beauty? And she's just like, yeah, I know you want to see it. That's why I'm covering up. So she's just giving a giant middle finger to the guys. And it was beautiful. It was great. I loved it.
Ivory going in is just it's too good. This class in general is just great.
I honestly do want to hear the Right to Censor theme just play as soon as she gets announced. It's
like they make the announcement for her Hall of Fame speech and Ivory and the fucking Right to Censor music comes on.
Right.
And then she gets to the podium. It's like, okay, sorry. Wrong music. I don't mean to censor that. I swear to, at that point, I'm just like, give this woman a wing. Give this woman her own wing.
I think even if she mentions Right to Censor, that'll make the entire thing worth it. And also the recent inductee, which a lot of people were very surprised by, and even some people were saying it was never going to happen. That being JEFF, that being Mr. Jeff Jarrett, is going to be going into the Hall of Fame this year. And to WWE's credit, they not only mentioned some of the prior accomplishments he did as a tag team champion and Intercontinental champion, but WWE actually gave credit by stating that he was the one who, and I quote, basically gave AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, and Eric Young their start in the wrestling business. What? They actually...
Woo, man. And on top of that, if you see... The day that they announced him going into the Hall of Fame, I heard the announcement, and I was actually tooling around on YouTube, and I go over and I click on WWE's YouTube page. Holy shit, just full, just like over, like at least a dozen Jeff Jarrett video clips and shit. I'm just like, damn, you going hard on this one, guys. I mean,
yeah.
Now, I'll admit, I'm one of those people that's never really been too entertained by Jeff Jarrett. I've never been a fan, but I do respect the body of work because he accomplished a lot, whether it was WWE or at the time WWF, WCW, over in Japan, a couple of the indie circuits, and while yes, this Impact did go downhill eventually. There was a time when the company that he and his dad started really had a rocket up its ass. Like, regardless of my opinions on whether or not he entertained me, the dude has changed the wrestling business, and I would argue for the better.
I agree. I full-heartedly agree with that. And honestly,
he deserves his spot.
He does. And honestly, he was indeed one of the best heels that TNA ever produced. I mean, there were so many people who are saying, like, yeah, because he was, the main pull behind everything behind the scenes and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, but he still knew how to make it look like, forget the fact that he was the guy, pulling the strings behind there. And he was just out there making you hate him because they know that, the ultimate payoff is going to be somebody's going to come and beat him. It's like, yes. And he helped, guys like AJ Styles and Rhino really reach their full potential.
Oh, God, yeah. And the one thing I will always give him a ton of credit and a ton of respect for, and I remember, because this even got brought up on TNA Impact Wrestling, years ago, back in the day. In fact, it was actually something he said in a promo back when the original Main Event Mafia was around, when they were, the heel faction trying to keep the young guys down. He said, like, I'm the founder of TNA, but he gave every ounce of TNA's success. He gave all the credit to the young guys, to Joe, to Styles, to Kazarian, to Christopher Daniels, everybody. Like, he has every right to take the credit for starting the company, but he fully attributed the success of the company to all of the talent that they had, the young, the old. It didn't matter. Like, he straight up said it was those wrestlers and the fans that made TNA what it could, really what it was at its height. And, considering the generation of wrestlers that he came from, that's not a very common thing for any of them to do. So, big tip of the hat there.
Definitely, full-heartedly agree. All right, Max, you ready? Let's talk about, ready. Finally, Monday Night Raw, or as you put it,
Monday Night Rollins, baby.
Yes.
Woo! Because first off, dude had one of the longest runs of just in one match of one wrestler in Raw's history. That's a legit statistic. Because we start things off with an Elimination Chamber build-up match, a Gauntlet Match. And at first, I went in with a bad attitude, because I'm just like, it's the Gauntlet Match for momentum. This is kind of weird. And then he pinned John Cena, and then he had an amazing opening bit with Roman Reigns, and like, wow, this is fucking great. Pins Roman Reigns clean. Wait, what? Okay, that's freaking cool. John Cena comes out. Well, okay, this is where it ends. Amazing match within the Gauntlet match with John Cena. Just fucking holy God almighty. Like, at one point, Cena, and credit to Cena, because, like, the dude was on his fucking A game. He has him in the AA position at one point, and he flips him around into this just sick-looking stunner thing, and I'm just, holy, I mean, I know I've said that Cena's improved since 2011, but damn! and then he pins John Cena clean. And then you got John Cena in an interview coming across like this genuine human character. Like, what the fuck? Where's this John Cena been for the last 5 years? What the hell? And then, oh god, he gets pinned. Then Rollins gets pinned by Elias. And if you think nobody can get genuine heel heat anymore, you go back and watch that part. And then there was the Miz, and then there was the glory of Braun Strowman, and this entire thing was the first 2 hours of the show, and they pulled the highest ratings that Raw has seen in over half a year. I mean, holy shit, this whole thing, it was so great, and a lot of people have been saying that, considering how not able to keep up with that the third hour was, it's kind of a good argument for a 2-hour show versus a 3-hour show. I'm not going to get into that, just bringing the point up. But those first 2 hours of the show were so damn good. It kept the overall rating of the show for viewers at 3.51.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, and also, just when I think that Braun Strowman can't top himself, it's nothing physical that he did. He drops one of the greatest lines he's ever said. I don't fear the unknown. The unknown fears me. Forget it. Braun Strowman's the best thing about wrestling in 2018.
He's been the best.
Oh my god, WWE. I don't know what possessed them to throw this gauntlet match and all the character work and promos together with it, but I went from being, the Elimination Chamber is probably going to be pretty good. I'm actually more looking forward to see what they do with the women's Elimination Chamber to, oh my god, why isn't it Sunday yet? Like, in 2 hours. Like, WWE, more of this. Look at your ratings. More of this. Seriously, every week, more of it.
Yeah, literally, this was probably the first time that I actually watched it, and I thought to myself, okay, I'm actually fine with, them doing the 3-hour show for this because of that, gauntlet match there. Like you said, Rollins had one of the best performances and one of the longest performances out of everybody that's went through Monday Night Raw, including Mr. Game Triple H himself, who probably had, a couple Iron Man matches, I think, on Raw. And I think this is probably the best match on Raw since Shawn Michaels and John Cena when they wrestled in the UK a few years ago. And that was a hard match to really top. I remember it was going on for so long, but the crowd just loved it. And I guess Vince McMahon was just like, let them wrestle for a full hour. Let's just keep it going. Let's just see what happens. And they put on, again, a wrestling clinic, a longer matchup and a better matchup than even their arguable, WrestleMania 23 matchup that they had about a month prior. And now with Seth Rollins, the way that he performed during this matchup, all I think to myself right now is, I want Seth Rollins in an Iron Man match, and I want that now, please and thank you, because he was the Iron Man of the match.
Seriously, and on top of that, every person involved, mostly Seth Rollins, made history. This is one of the longest overall, from beginning to end, the whole gauntlet match with everyone involved is one of the longest matches of the last 20 years in North American wrestling history. It's one of the longest matches in WWE history. People have been bringing up, Bruno Sammartino was known for, having one match that would go an entire show. This was longer than anything Bruno did. This is the official longest match in Monday Night Raw's entire 25-year history. And when you consider the ratings that it managed to spike up and the crowd investment, it might be one of the best matches in Raw's history.
Hard to disagree with that. I'm definitely not going to disagree with that. And it did, again, like you said, build up the Elimination Chamber very well, and we are definitely going to get into that in just a little bit. Talk a little bit about what also happened on Raw. Titus Worldwide defeated The Bar. And then we also had the 6 women's tag team matchup in which we see basically a triangle team-up deal, basically, to end it with. it was Bliss and Mickey, Sonya, Mandy, and arguably Sasha and Bayley. Basically, it's almost like, okay, well, there's basically 3 teams going into a 6 women's, matchup this Sunday. Kind of looking forward to it, actually. I think that I thought it was a pretty good build-up going into going into Sunday.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. But I got to admit, with all the factions they've been doing with the women's division and everything that they've been doing recently, especially with all the triangle and the teaming up, it's been getting me thinking ever since Monday. Do you think that they should kind of imitate what TNA did and have a women's tag division?
I think that if they're going to keep doing this, it is definitely going to need to happen sooner rather than later. And in all honesty, I would love for them to do like a women's tag team tournament and build that up to a final matchup at, well, since they only do Raw vs. SmackDown once a year, maybe they'll just have it at Survivor Series. And in all honesty, it would work. It would be really, I think it'd be the perfect place to do it because A, you could give whoever the point goes to whichever brand, and B, you would establish, hey, this is the best tag team women's of the best tag team in the women's division for both brands. And in all honesty, I would have that championship float between the two of them. Maybe just have one be defended on Raw, and then another month it's like, oh, it's defended on SmackDown, and blah 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 blah. That kind of deal. Just don't overdo it. That's the main thing.
Oh, definitely. Don't overdo it. Don't overpush it. But I was just about to bring up, like, they should have this one float between the two shows. I think, and some people would say, well, why not have a Raw women's tag and a SmackDown women's tag? 2 reasons. One, if they have it float, it'll add to, I should say, it'll kind of work with the fact that it's so new and different from anything WWE specifically has done, and it'll kind of add to how special and important it is. But the other reason is there are so many titles right now, and each show has a main event title, a mid-tier title, a women's division title, and a tag title. The last thing they need is to throw another set of belts on there. So having something that floats between the two, almost giving the champions pseudo free agent status, I think would definitely, working with what you said, I think it would also just really help. It would help it stand out without cluttering up either show's card.
Yeah, definitely. And, I just actually had a thought that since it would be kind of like a free agent deal, they could arguably have those titles be defended also on NXT. And I think we both have the same idea. It's like, who should be the second tag team champions? Let me see. Who is like the best women's tag team on NXT right now? Let's see here. Let's see, there's 2 of them, and they're kind of, they're great, they're good, they're iconic, per se.
I knew where you were going with this. And then, after they have the titles, give them a nice long title reign, and then they're like, they make their, they defend them only on NXT for a while, and then they come up and they're defending them on SmackDown all the time. They come over to Raw, and that's when Kairi Sane gets called up. She teams with Asuka, and they kill them. And then it's like, well, the women's tag titles ain't going anywhere for a while, guys.
Well, that was an iconic beatdown, per se.
Iconic, brutal as fuck. A little calm A, a little calm B.
Yeah, right. All right, so let's not waste any time. Let's get right into the Elimination Chamber. Of course, this is going to be the predictions deal. I, of course, have to make my predictions for Sunday because, yeah, there's a lot that's going to be going on. I'm going to be busy keeping track of so many predictions for not only a number 1 contenders deal for Fastlane, but also between my match with Mr. Joe. Yeah, he's going to witness me go to day 155 of my title run. So, yeah, eat it. Yeah, I just pulled a Grim. I'm not very proud of that. I actually feel kind of dirty.
You're not proud of it, but it's not wrong.
Well, I mean, I don't eat as much as he does, but let's just... before I take too many shots at Grim, let's just get into Elimination Chamber. All right. So, starting off with the pre-show, it just got announced today, I believe, that it's going to be the Club versus the Miztourage. I think we're both in agreement on this, and honestly, I wish it was the Club versus the Revival, because it would have made for better matchups, but I'm going with the Club. Who are you going with, Max?
In my heart of hearts, like, you know I love The Miz and the Miztourage, but I gotta go with the Club. I do kind of think that if this is going to be on the pre-show, Miztourage versus the Club, that I think that's acceptable. If this were the Club versus the Revival and it wasn't on the main card, I don't think angry is the right word I would be for that. Like, just, can we not? Can we not put the top guys? Can we put them maybe on the main card? But as much as like the Miztourage, it's in the right spot. But yeah, I agree with you. The Club is going to walk away with it, and I think they should walk away with it.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this will build up to a great matchup at WrestleMania for the Raw Tag Team titles. I say put the bar against the Club as well as Revival, make it a 3-way. I think that would be awesome. And if they want to maybe call up one tag team from NXT, I mean, right now, I don't know who they would call up to really fill in like a fourth spot. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe the current NXT tag team champs?
Undisputed Era would be a very interesting one. Maybe they pull up Sanity in there, and somehow Sanity just decides, we're just going to win the tag team titles on our first night, and it's at WrestleMania. Oh my God!
Well, that'd be quite the push,
right? I mean, and arguably they kind of did that with when they had Sanity defeat Authors of Pain. It was kind of one of those things where it's like, wait, what? They did that? Whoa! I'm actually okay with this.
Oh God, yeah, but like you said, I agree with you. The Club's got to walk away with this one.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get into the other tag team matchup. That, of course, being for the Raw Tag Team titles. Titus Worldwide against the champions, The Bar. Really kind of one of those matches they just threw together because, well, reasons per se. I mean, Titus Worldwide got a win on Raw, and it's like, oh, well, they won there. Let's give them a tag team title shot. I'm hoping that this will definitely be one of those matches where Titus Worldwide gets not necessarily pushed to the moon, but really having a good showing to where it's just like, well, at least they didn't just give him a shot just because they show off like their credibility, and it's like, oh wow, they are actually given a good matchup because this is a good matchup. Okay, I'm okay with this. But who have you got and why?
Well, personally, because, and we've discussed this before, I've never been a fan of the whole blank has pinned the blank champions, as a build-up tactic. I think it's kind of cheap, but one thing I would appreciate is, and it would take away the cheapness, is if the people that pinned them once, pinned them again and just won the titles. But I personally don't think that's going to happen. I think this was kind of just a random thrown together match. So I think the Bar is going to retain. I think personally it'll be a clean victory, but you never know. WWE might have them win by shenanigans, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Bar is going to retain. I mean, Cesaro and Sheamus are probably the best tag team that's happened to Raw since since the Club when they first started off, and I'm talking before they lost to the Usos for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
Alright, let's go on to the next matchup, which we have Woken Matt Hardy versus Bray Wyatt. I wish the build-up here was better, and so many people want to see, Bray and Matt as a tag team, and this was one of those things that I definitely hit on when I did my 12 days of booking. I said, let these guys just really start, embracing the fact that both of them are crazy, both of them are insane. Let the two of them pair up, and let's just see them, team up against each other. Why is this happening? Well, because reasons. Okay, then. I'm going to go with Bray Wyatt on this one. I think that they are going to slowly have Matt maybe turn heel, but I don't think I can see Matt really winning this one. I know a lot of people are saying, like, oh, Matt's going to win. Matt's going to win. It's like, I don't see it happening at Elimination Chamber. If they do have a blow-off match, it should be at WrestleMania, and it should be with a better build-up. I think just with this lame build-up that they've done, it's going to go to Bray.
Yeah, oh boy, like, I've got so many problems with this build-up. The build-up itself has just been kind of weak. It's been more or less the same promos every week without any real variation. And on top of that, yeah, they do the whole thing now where, you know, the entire Titantron and the ramp are, like, covered in the word delete, and he's wearing the jacket, and he's doing the laugh and all that, but we've been watching this for months now. He's been woken Matt for, you know, long enough that I feel confident in saying that WWE has completely missed the point. Like, by this point in TNA, he had defined motivations, a fleshed out persona. He had his family come in. They had Senior Benjamin. They had completely embraced the sheer madness of the whole thing. Here, we got a laugh, we got an entrance ramp, and some catchphrases. I'm really not, like, broken Matt is better than woken Matt at this point. And because of that, I gotta once again agree with you. I think Bray he's gonna take the win here. I don't necessarily think they're gonna work on turning Matt heel. I think, if anything, they're probably just going to, you know, stay the course. What I would love to see is not just a team-up, but, first off, them to just finally let Matt embrace all the just insane, crazy, and let's be real here, silly-ass bullshit that we all knew and loved from Broken Matt, and have him, through that, recruit Bray Wyatt. And then, you know, maybe that happens at WrestleMania, which kind of would be perfect since there's a lot of rumors going around now that Jeff is going to make his big return at WrestleMania. So I think, like, having Jeff come back in and have that be, like, the final nail in the coffin for them recruiting Bray, and kind of have them be, like, this weird, insane three-man group, and then from there, like, they start incorporating, you know, the Sister Abigail stuff, and they start letting him bring in, like, Matt's family, and start doing some of the really cool, kooky, nutso stuff. I think that would be just perfect, and I think it would make up for a lot of the problems they've had so far. I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. It's like a best-case scenario, but fingers crossed.
Well, speaking of Jeff, do you think that he's going to make some kind of an appearance at the Elimination Chamber event this Sunday?
You know, a big part of me does say yes. I think even if he's not going to make his in-ring return until WrestleMania, I think that the Elimination Chamber is a great point to start building that return up. Like, obviously, if there's still some health issues, then between Elimination Chamber and Mania, he doesn't, at the very least, he doesn't take any bumps. Like, the dude can get in the ring and maybe, like, you know, throw some kicks and some forearms and whatnot, but he's not taking any bumps, he's not dropping any swanton bombs, you know, kind of keep him a little protected until then. But I think there's a good chance that he could put in an appearance at Chamber. Who knows, since the Broken Matt gimmick was predicated on a feud between Matt and Jeff, maybe Jeff costs Matt the match. Like, he turns heel, like, they could have it be like, oh, Bray's been, like, turning him against Jeff behind the scenes, and they could insert that in there. I think that'd be pretty great, but I could definitely see, one way or the other, Jeff putting in an appearance at Chamber.
Yeah, I think I'll disagree with you on that, mainly because of the point that you brought, that they're probably going to save his return for WrestleMania. I just think that they're probably not going to do anything with him. Would he make an appearance? Probably. If given the option, he probably would. But do I think it's going to happen? I highly doubt it will. But we gotta continue on with the show. Continuing on with Asuka versus Nia Jax, and if Nia Jax wins, she'll be added to the WrestleMania match, making it into a triple threat match. First of all, wasn't this one of those situations where Stephanie said to wait for the decision to choose which title to go after Elimination Chamber, or was that established that Asuka was going to face Alexa?
As far as I'm aware, she's not made a decision as to who she's going to face at Mania. I mean, I think the writing's on the wall. She's going to pick Alexa Bliss. But yeah, they established that this kind of thing wouldn't happen or come up until Asuka made her decision and finalized it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm actually really looking forward to this match. You know, you and anyone who watches the show knows I'm a big Asuka fan, but I'm also a really big Nia Jax fan. I friggin' love her. I'm conflicted. On the one hand, I really want to see this match. I love both wrestlers. But on the other hand, you can't... WWE, you can't say you're going to do thing A and then do thing C, okay? That doesn't work. You cannot lie to our faces like that.
Right. Yeah. I am hoping that they do at least do something good, and at least something that, you know, would make sense when it comes to this matchup, but we know WWE's really checkered past and how they've really handled these situations. I will say this though, it does have like the same feeling as what was it? A few years ago, 2005 when Batista won the Rumble, and Teddy Long just basically said, "Well, I'm not waiting for Batista to make his decision. If we need to have like some kind of main event build for WrestleMania, so let's have a tournament. Let's have, you know, these guys will fight against each other, and they'll fight the WWE champion at WrestleMania," which, of course, a lot of people would have been very interested to seeing, you know, JBL versus John Cena versus Batista. But, hey, we got Triple H versus Batista, which was the best payoff. This kind of has
definitely.
This has kind of the same feel to it. And yeah. I really want Nia Jax to, you know, be a part of the WrestleMania scene because, like I said, she's definitely a workhorse in WWE. And for the last year, I would even say she has been one of those people that I look at and think, yeah, she deserves a lot more, and she should have been the champion by now. Why haven't they pulled the trigger on her finally? And, of course, they're just going to say, like, well, you know, we're just trying to get all these other big things there. Make this happen now, damn it. Put the belt on her forever.
See, here's the thing, though, and this actually goes into not only my prediction for this match, but a prediction for WrestleMania as well. I think Asuka's going to win. I think part of that is because they've shown that they're not really committed to a Nia Jax push. They've put her in this kind of position before, and then she ate a loss. I think what is going to happen, and it kind of boils my blood a little bit. I mean, I get the reasons for it, but I still don't like it. I think Asuka wins. She picks Alexa Bliss. And at WrestleMania, we get Alexa Bliss versus Asuka versus Ronda Rousey. And I will go this far. Ronda wins.
Oh, boy.
I do not like it. I don't like it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Rousey's definitely a ratings draw. I totally get that. But she does not need to pick up the belt in order to be a ratings draw. Her name alone is. I think having her just be integrated into the women's division scene and having her build up, like, you can have it be a quick build to her getting to the title. That's fine. But have it be a build. But personally, I'm calling it now, and hey, if I'm wrong, I'll eat my words. But I think Asuka wins here at Elimination Chamber. She picks Alexa Bliss, and we get that triple threat with Ronda winning at the end of it at Mania. Maybe I'm being overly negative, but that's how I see things going.
Right. I will agree with you and pick Asuka as well. One of the predictions was that I had was, does Rousey sign with Raw? Yeah, I'll agree that Ronda will, stay on Raw, but I don't know if I see her getting into the title picture that quickly. I mean, with the reaction that she got at Rumble, I mean, it was a great spur of the moment where it's like, oh, hey, Ronda Rousey's here. But then when she got in the ring and she's doing her thing, it's like, oh, the nostalgia's starting to wear off, and then people just started booing. And even people were booing when they made that announcement of, oh, she's going to be in the Elimination Chamber, she's going to be signing her Raw deal. People are just booing that. I'm like, yeah, I don't think that they're going to risk putting her in a championship match right now. I think if anything, they may continue what they were building up to a few years ago, and that's having some kind of mixed tag team deal pitting, Ronda Rousey versus Stephanie McMahon. And in all honesty, I would pay to see that because...
God, yes. I would so pay to watch Ronda Rousey just slap the shit out of friggin' out of Stephanie McMahon. Oh, God, If they seriously did that, if they actually said, all right, it's either going to be a mixed tag match with, like, say, Rock and Rousey versus Triple H and Steph, or it's just going to be, like, a singles match, because as much as I don't like Stephanie, she's proven in the past few years that, she stepped into the ring a couple years ago, and she can go. I swear to God, if they make that announcement, just to show how much I'm behind that, I would consider buying the pay-per-view. Like, wait a minute. They're going to actually do that, and they're not going to have her muddle up the title scene? $45.99, here you go.
Awesome. Oh, jeez.
Hey, I know what's up. I know what I want, and I'm willing to support it.
Fair enough. I think that I would join up with you on that. That would actually be the better payoff. All right, so let's finally get all the nostalgia out of the way, and let's talk about the Elimination Chamber matches. First, starting off with the historic first ever Women's Elimination Chamber match for the Raw Women's Championship. Alexa Bliss defending against Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Mickie James. This could be a pretty good matchup. And actually, I will actually say this. I was going to save this for Sunday to bring up this interesting fact. But a lot of people know that I've been doing like a lot of these random facts about, wrestling events. I did that for the Royal Rumble, like I think a week prior. I've been doing the same thing for the Elimination Chamber deal. And one thing that I've kind of noticed, which actually could be a bit scary, but I don't know if it's going to be worrisome too much, is that about 16 of these chamber matches that have happened have all been for championships, and only about, and get ready for this, 43% of the champions have actually retained inside the chamber. That's a pretty low number still. I mean, it's not, it isn't 50-50, and that's what kind of scary. And I think a lot of people might just say, like, well, that probably means that she's probably not going to retain. But I think we both are in agreement that Alexa's going to retain. Well, let's see if he actually should. You there, buddy? Huh. Well, that's interesting. I always love Skype, and I always love doing these live broadcasts where it's like, huh, well, that just happened. And, oh, okay, the computer shut off. So I want to kind of do like these little mini predictions right here. I have Alexa Bliss winning, and first eliminated would, I think it's going to actually be, man, I think that Sonya Deville is going to get eliminated first. I think that she's going to get eliminated first, and then the final person to get eliminated will be Sasha Banks. So, yeah, and the same thing will go for the Raw Elimination Chamber, 7-man Elimination Chamber deal. So while Max is still booting things up, I'll go right into that one. The main event, of course, being the Raw Elimination Chamber matchup, which we will see 7-man. Oh, nope. I think we'll be good. Let me just get him. Let's get him back on the line. Yeah, it kind of freaked me out just a little bit, but there we go. You're right there,
sorry
bud.
about that. I bumped my charge cord, and I thought my the battery's at 100%. I guess not.
Oh, no, oh, man. That's a bummer.
It happens.
It did happen. It was just really weird that I bring up, like, the Elimination Chamber, and after I brought up the statistic that I brought up, it just went dead silent, and I'm like, oh boy, did I just break Max or something?
No, you broke my computer apparently, though. You want to pick up where we left off?
Yeah, I already gave my predictions for the Raw Women's Elimination Chamber matchup, but I was basically saying that how only 43% of the champions have actually retained their titles inside the chamber match. And yeah, it's a little lower than half, but if Alexa wins, then hey, she's a part of that 43%. It'll probably upgrade just a little bit, but 43.1, 1.5, because it's Alexa Bliss and she's adorable. Let her stand out. So Raw Women's Championship Elimination Chamber match. Who have you got?
Honestly, I think that she's going to be a part of that 43%. I think that she's going to retain. That's not. I've heard a lot of people saying, "Oh yeah, Alexa Bliss is going to retain because, well, look at her competition." First off, don't be knocking the competition that's currently in there. It's not a bad Elimination Chamber lineup, personally. But I do still think that I think no matter what, they're pretty committed to her being the champ going in to WrestleMania. I don't think they have any plans to end her reign until WrestleMania. So I do think that she's going to be part of that 43%. I do personally think that she's going to use every slippery, slimy, sneaky heel tactic to, avoid shit. I mean, I could see her basically knocking someone down and just giving the pin to someone else and then just letting people fight it out while she, hides in a corner or something. And that's not to, knock her. That's just the kind of heel she's been. I mean, look at her history with Nia Jax, for crying out loud. I think that those kind of smart heel tactics are going to be what allows her to retain.
Yeah, I agree. And in all honesty, I could definitely see her hiding one of the chamber pods like so many other champions have done.
Oh my god, yes. She just, the first entrant comes out, starts storming over whoever she was facing off at the start, and she just hops in the pod, shuts the door, just sits there, kind of holds it shut. Eventually, the other two opponents are like, "Well, we'll get to you later."
Right. Or she just ends up all the women just look over and they see Bliss just in the corner there, and they're just kind of like, I think bitch gonna die, and they just all go in and just open up the door. and that's how they just get her out, because in all honesty, I do not see what happened. I think it was Elimination Chamber 2014, I think it was, where Randy Orton put himself in the chamber pod, and Sheamus was just standing there. Orton's just kind of doing nah, you can't get me. And Sheamus just gets pissed off. Bro kicks the door down, and he just grabs get over here, you idiots. He just throws him in the ring. I don't see that happening.
Such a great moment.
I don't see that happening, except for this final matchup that we're going to be talking about, and that being the first ever 7-man Elimination Chamber matchup for the opportunity to fight Brock Lesnar for the Universal title at WrestleMania. That, of course, featuring Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, The Miz, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Elias, and John Cena. This
very star-studded chamber match.
It really is. It really is.
I am confused about something. Is there going to be a 5th pod, or is it going to start with 3 guys in the ring?
I would think the most logical thing would be starting off with 3, because it seems like a bit of a waste if they just decide to make another pod, unless for some reason, and this would be funny as hell, if they had a single pod in the middle, like on the roof of the chamber, where they just and Finn Balor's in there, and then just when his chamber pod opens, he just flies down like a demon, just because we're gonna reference that. For the love of all the time, Mighty, that'd be amazing.
That'd be great, or a special a double-sized pod or something for Braun Strowman, and pull something like, the lock is busted. Oh, we're trying to get him out. Oh no, what are we gonna do? And he just tears the friggin' thing apart, and then he's using the door or the glass, and he's just beat someone to death with it. I'm not finished with this pod yet.
Oh God. Just for a brief moment, I want to kind of go a little off topic before we get our predictions in. Can you imagine if Braun Strowman was in Lucha Underground?
Oh my God, that would. I'm just picturing Braun versus Mil Muertes right now, and
he just literally goes Super Saiyan on everybody's ass, just reasons.
Oh my God! Oh, minor little aside before we continue on with the chamber here. Since you brought Lucha Underground up, season 4 started filming today.
I heard that, and honestly, Thunder Rosa, aka Cobra Moon, she mentioned that she was not going to be Thunder Rosa for the next couple days, and literally, I'm thinking to myself, hashtag Cobra Tribe? ? Hashtag better than Cobra Kai. Yeah, I made a Karate Kid. I made a Karate Kid reference. So sue me. And plus, they got their own movie coming out, so I guess, in all fairness, Cobra Kai does have a little bit of an advantage.
Fucking do it.
Yeah, so definitely, guys, when Lucha Underground comes out, we'll definitely be covering that. Maybe we'll do more of the live reaction deals because it's Lucha Underground, and it's the best wrestling entertainment deal that we have ever seen in years. But let's.
I miss you, Dario.
But let's get into, of course, our predictions for the 7-man Raw Elimination Chamber matchup. Who have you got, Max?
Oh my God, this is a tough one. This is tough. I mean, you've got former world champions in there. You've got guys that are just crazy over. I mean, Braun Strowman has started getting friggin' Goldberg-style chants for crying out loud. Damn. This is, right now, the betting odds are, all over Roman Reigns winning this one. And there is a part of me that does believe that. But honestly, I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be, Roman Reigns. I think, and I can't pick between these two. I think it's going to come down to being either one of these two. Number 1, Braun Strowman. And that's not even because, oh my God, I love the dude and we've been cracking jokes about him. I think that there's just this perfect build right there. And especially, and I feel like that build kind of culminated this Monday when, he said that he's going to, win the Elimination Chamber and then he's coming for Brock Lesnar. I really do think it could very easily be, Strowman. I think the other option, and this might seem kind of out of left field since whenever the 3 guys everyone's been talking about, of course, Roman Reigns since he's the betting odds-on favorite, Braun Strowman, and then Seth Rollins. I think it's going to personally come down to either Braun Strowman or John Cena, and I can't pick, so I'm saying it's going to be either Strowman or Cena.
All right, fair enough. I would love to see Braun Strowman do this personally. I mentioned this on my Facebook fan page, that there's this record right now of 3 eliminations in a single Elimination Chamber matchup, and that record was, of course, being held by Goldberg, Undertaker, and Carlito, of all people. But at the same time, I guess he has to be part of the Cool Kids Club. I want to see Braun Strowman break that record this Sunday. I want to see him eliminate 4 guys. And I think the first person he's going to eliminate is going to be The Miz, because there has been rumors speculating that it is going to be Strowman versus Miz at WrestleMania, and this would actually be a great way to build up that feud. Have him get eliminated first, and Miz, of course, just gets pissed at Braun. But yeah, nothing happens because Braun is Braun. With that same thought, I do think that Braun is going to also be the last one eliminated, and I'm going to be going with the winner of the match is going to be the predictable one, but at the same time, right now, I think it makes sense. Roman Reigns. I just think that he has gotten so much better in the ring ever since WrestleMania 31, because I think back then, a lot of people saw him as the guy who just has maybe like 3 or 4 moves that he can actually do. Oh, Samoan drop. Oh, that's great. Oh, he can do a flying clothesline. That's nice. Superman punch. Spear. Wow, this looks so much like John Cena. But ever since then, he's upped his game when it came to his wrestling. He is now adding, the Niagara driver. He's doing all these other... He does like a schoolboy into a powerbomb, which is honestly... It really does fit him very well. There's so much that he...
Fucking amazing.
He definitely has gotten a lot better. Is his mic work any better? Well, it's debatable. There's some people that say like it's better. There's some that are saying that it's probably worse. But this, having him win the Chamber would accomplish 2 things. One, when he last eliminates Braun Strowman, it's kind of one of those things where it's just like, hey, Roman Reigns is conquering his, final demon, and that being Braun Strowman, because all through last year, he really only beat Braun Strowman once, and Braun Strowman always kept beating him up, and he was always getting just wrecked by Braun Strowman. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, well, a little bit of a vengeance for what happened, over the last year. But
not only that, but if he were to win and go up against Lesnar and beat Lesnar for the title, Strowman would make a perfect opening feud for that title run. I mean, I'm just going to lay my cards on the table. Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman had the WWE feud of the year last year, and I think it's like there's obviously going to be some people who, I mean, I agree with you completely. He's like almost practically 180'd himself from where he used to be Roman. So I mean, I'd be okay with him winning, I guess. But I think reigniting the Braun-Roman feud, but this time centering it around the world title, a world title that Roman picked off of Brock Lesnar. Oh my God, yep. I will pay for the pay-per-view. I will buy the fucking T-shirt. Give me that WWE. Give me that right now. I am asking for a Roman Reigns title run for a feud. Come on.
And in all honesty, if they did bring up, if they actually build up the feud to the point where maybe Braun Strowman basically says, "I want you in an ambulance match," that's where people would be like, "Oh shit! Well, do we all remember what happened last time? These guys were in an ambulance matchup. Oh, that's right. Braun Strowman basically outsmarted Roman Reigns and beat him before getting, basically wrecked by Roman Reigns in an attempted murder deal." Man, like you said, this just screams beauty right there. And the other reason why is that I think that it's finally time to really recognize the fact that, hey, Roman Reigns has done so much throughout this year. He's gotten better. He's slowly getting better as time is going on. And this time around, between him and Lesnar, I think it's going to be a matchup that people are going to actually want to see. Now, I want to make the case that I don't think that Roman and Lesnar should be the main event. It should be Styles versus Nakamura, because, God help us, that's going to be the matchup that's going to compete with Wrestle Kingdom. Just do it. Just let Styles, and not Nakamura, main event Mania. That's why you have him win the Rumble in the first place. It says, like, hey, he's going to main event WrestleMania. Main eventing mean the last matchup, not the first matchup on the card. Yeah, I'm showing shades from Alberto Del Rio's win. It's like, hey, you won the 40-man Rumble. You're going to be the first match on the show. Great. Just great. Really good to know. But then again, Alberto Del Rio is a piece of trash, so in all fairness.
Shots fired!
All right, so those are our predictions for the Elimination Chamber. This week for wrestling, as well as the weeks prior to wrestling, have been absolutely amazing. Sorry, guys, that we haven't really been doing this more frequently, but we're back. We're in full swing. We're getting ready. We're on the road to WrestleMania. It hits a speed bump this Sunday with the Elimination Chamber and a major speed bump called Fastlane. Let's just hope that SmackDown Live can try to not be as predictable as this Raw event, as a lot of people are saying. I think that this Raw event will actually be not as predictable as people are making it out to be. I mean, some of the outcomes might be predictable, but I think what happens during the matchup is going to be absolutely... It's hard to really say, what's going to happen. Like I said, I want to see Braun break the record and eliminate 4 guys in the matchup. I would love to see, as you said, Alexis be that heel and just lock herself in a chamber pod and just be like, nope, I'm not coming out. Nope. And she does like that kind of like 5-year-old deal where she's like sticking out her tongue, waving her hands in the air, and she's like, you can't get me, you can't get me. Oh, God, I want that more now than ever, just because it would be priceless. Oh, man. All right, so final thoughts on wrestling this week, Max?
Well, NXT was a lot of fun. SmackDown was, it was better than it has been in the past few weeks. That's not saying much. And Monday Night Raw, yeah, you just keep doing that Monday Night Raw and we'll be good. Oh, but the third hour was kind of lackluster. Don't care. First 2 hours, you do that Monday Night Raw and we'll be friends again.
Fair enough.
Also, friggin' Lucha Underground started filming its 4th season today. It's just... it's a good week for wrestling.
It's a beautiful morning. It's a beautiful day. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been The Game Changer. You can always follow Mr. Max Beatty on his Twitter at AGCooper1989, as well as myself at RealFNGame. And be sure to give us a like on the Facebook fan page, facebook.com/Changing Up the Game. And I did make the announcement earlier of the King of Predictions war that will take place at WrestleMania. The rules and everything will actually be announced after Fastlane, as well as the participants. And guys, if you want to be a part of this historical deal, all you have to do is comment. Let me know that you guys want to be a part of it. Like I said, there's a lot on the line when it comes to this. Third place winner will get $25. The second place winner will receive $50, as well as a chance to co-host an episode of The Game Changer with yours truly. You get to pick the subject matter. You get to pick what we talk about. And of course, the first place winner will be not only recognized as the king or queen of predictions for 1 full year by The Game Changer. They will also receive a number 1 contendership shot at the Game Changer title at the Money in the Bank event, but also $100 for your victory. You guys deserve it. Thank you so much for your support. And it's going to be a crazy road going into WrestleMania. So definitely tune into that. Tune in next weekend when I will be doing a live reaction special with Victory Bell when we do the Oscars. Yeah, like I said, crazy week, crazy months, all building up to WrestleMania in April. So thank you guys so much for joining us here for The Game Changer. And we will talk to you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.